And now, prepare yourself for some exciting technology. This is technology that we're placing right in your hands. You'll be able to advance your conservative goals and ideas with the latest proven digital techniques. He's not hiding under the brick and steel of an undisclosed location. He's right here, talking to you, answering your questions, promoting your digital ideas. Intimate, for real. Right now. Coming to you from Los Angeles, California, say hello to Ron Robinson. Technical guru, full-stack programmer, digital evangelist, and conservative binary leader. And now, here's Ron.
Really help you out with your privacy and so forth. So let's take a look at the headlines. First of all, earlier this week, the FBI was calling again for some kind of magical solution to break into encrypted phones. Now we're getting better and better at that. Lots of people are inadvertently, even accidentally, using good security tools to do email, do text messaging, and so forth on their phone, and it's a good thing. And the FBI has been noticing for a while, and they've been complaining about it. They did, in that one earlier criminal case, find an Israeli firm that could break into some iPhones, but that cost them a couple of $1 million, and they're not going to do that on every criminal case. They're not going to spend that kind of money on every criminal case. So as you and I improve our security, we're just going to cause the FBI to whine even more. Now, for those of you who who enjoy the old video games like Tetris and stuff like that, there is a new iPhone case out that doubles as a retro game console, and hopefully it's not going to convert your screen. I think the example that we see there in the picture is the iPhone screen laying face down, and if you turn it over, you'll see the normal iPhone screen, because I, for once, am not willing to give up my full-size organic LED display for a old-fashioned black and white LCD display like it's showing there in the picture. But if you're into retro games, you can get that case, and that was at popularmechanics.com, so I'll let you go find that yourselves. Next, Amazon's Alexa has been laughing at people out of the blue, and Alexa just lit up. Now, Alexa's good for a lot of things. I use Alexa all the time. Alexa, what's the cube root? Alexa, what's the cube root of 4,382?
The cube root of 4,382 is 16.3640497464.
Well, that's an approximate answer, I'm sure, Alexa. Thank you for that. Anyway, nobody's been able to figure out yet why Alexa has been just laughing at people out of the blue. Myself, it's never happened to me, but apparently it's happening to enough people to catch some headlines. Next, in the world of cyber currency, now you can buy a heater for your home. And this was at Mashable. you can buy a heater for your home that will actually mine cryptocurrency. Now, this thing consumes 500 watts, and it mines at the rate of 50 mega hashes per second, which is a very slow rate. What that means is, I believe I've got it stored up here. Yes. If you're mining at that rate with that wattage, you're consuming 500 watts of power, and you're paying for that power, then this heater is going to lose your money. You're going to lose a tenth of a penny per day. Pardon me, you're going to lose a dime a day. That's terrible. I wouldn't get that heater if I were you. That may not work too well. Now, back some time ago, some NSA spy tools leaked from the NSA. They must have almost been placed out there by an NSA employee or consultant. And the tools are called Eternal Blue. And these tools are helping hackers a lot. If you have a website, you do want to be careful and do everything you can to secure your site. Getting an external scanning service, and we'll look at those in a future edition. Getting an external scanning service is a good choice. And that will give you some reassurances that nobody's hacking into your website or into your corporate servers, or your party servers, or your campaign servers. That's what's important to us in this particular show. So just do be aware that the hackers have some very good tools out there, and we don't want to give them any ground. Axios issued a big warning 6 days ago that Senate Democrats are running into a midterm buzzsaw. Well, after Tuesday's results in Pennsylvania, I'm not sure if that's true. The Democrat won in that race by just less than 0.2%, way under 1%. However, they don't have a mandatory recount law in Pennsylvania, so that election result stands as it is. Next, Oakland is proposing a per-ride city tax to raise Uber Lyft prices. If you're going to be riding Uber or Lyft around Oakland, they're going to be trying to charge you a per-ride tax. Now, the legislator, the city council person who introduced this said, hey, you know what? These Uber and Lyft drivers are using our roads, and we're not realizing any revenue from it. And, well, guess what? They're buying gasoline, and they're paying the highest gasoline tax in the United States to pay for California roads. So, yes, they drive more, and yes, they pay more on gasoline tax because they drive more. So they're already being taxed for driving on the roads. Maybe you could devote those tax revenues to the intent that they were intended. Next, from Instapundit, that's one of the news sites in my daily rotation. Is a great observation. This doesn't have anything to do with tech, but I liked it so much. Well, it's Netflix, so there's just an edge of tech in it. Netflix is negotiating with former President Obama about perhaps doing a show on Netflix. So if Obama's negotiating with Netflix, that means Netflix will have nukes within 18 months. So that's what we can expect from that. Really, really happy about that. That's it for the headlines. Let's go ahead and take a look at data validation now. Now, every campaign, every party has to clean email lists, and usually, a lot of times, doing an email list is something that's left up to the consultants, but this is something we can all be doing for ourselves. And let me show you what I mean. What we mean by an email list is, if you're on MailChimp or iContact or Constant Contact or any of these, Nation Builder included, the very few mass emailing solutions that we have built into WordPress sites included, We're all concerned with sending out as many mass emails as we can, and we all want to build our mass email list. So a lot of services have popped up that will allow you to clean your email list and take off the bad emails so your email provider, your mass email provider like MailChimp or whoever, doesn't shut you down for sending out too much spam. Just about everybody in politics has been shut down at one time or another by their mass email sender for sending. Now, I have to give you a caveat right now. Even after you've cleaned this list, you can do a mass email send and still get shut down. So you still have to be careful. But you should always start with a cleaned email list. Now, I've already logged into datavalidation.com, and joining their site is free. Uploading email lists is free. What you do is you upload your email list. They will analyze it. They'll tell you how many emails on that list are good, how many are bad, and then you pay to get the clean list back. And you pay based only on the number of good email addresses you have. So I'm at the main login screen after when you log in, and you can join the site with an email address, and that's your login, and set a password. They will confirm that that's a good email address. They'll send you an email. You click the link in the email, and then they know that you gave a good email address and that they can contact you if they need to. So I'm at the main screen, and what I do right here is I click on the button right here that tells I want to upload a new list. So I'm going to click on this button, and I get a dialog here where I can drag a file, or I can click one of these links and go looking for the file. But I've got the file side right here, and I simply drop it on that big panel to upload it. And as you can see, it uploaded really fast, and I'm going to go ahead and leave them. It's asking for the name. I could give it another name here, but that's fine. And we are using a comma delimiter on the data in there, and it's already guessed the proper column that contains the email addresses. This is a real simple file. All it has is the full name of the person, first and last name, and then also the email address. So I'm going to tell it to go ahead and create the list. And you can see there now that it's creating the list. Now, there weren't very many records on this. I think this is going to go pretty fast. But, yeah, there it's 40% done already. And we may go on to the next item and come back to this if it looks like it's going to take too long. It's 80% done. I think we should just wait on it probably. It's almost done. It was a fairly short list. So this is pretty easy, isn't it? I think this is one of the easiest things in the world to do. Well, it's staying stuck at 80% for a pretty long time, so we'll go ahead and move on, and we'll come back. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was custom templates in Nation Builder, and how to get a custom template, and then you can program down on the very bare metal. If you've ever wanted to do something like embed a YouTube video in or embed something that Nation Builder doesn't want you to embed, there's a way to do it, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Right now, I'm in the Nation Builder control panel, and I've clicked on a website, and I'm going to click the website I want to work with. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go over here and click on Theme. And I have a theme that I like. It's a customized theme that I customized. But I'm going to go ahead, just to show you how to do it, I'm going to switch to a public theme, because everybody starts out with a public theme. So I'm going to click to use the Aware theme. And then I'm going to choose the color that I want. And it has already applied that theme now that I've made those choices. So what I do is I am using a custom theme. Let's go back out here, and we will go back to that website. And if I click on theme, it's showing me which public theme I've got. So what I want to do is I want to create a custom theme, and I've chosen the Aware theme here. What I want to do is I want to make a new custom theme based on this Aware theme. So I'll click New Custom Theme here, and I'm going to give it a name that reflects the public theme that I was using. And I'm going to clone my current theme. That's what I want. I want to clone my current theme and switch to your new site theme immediately. So I'm creating the theme. And this takes just a moment to complete. But the nice thing about it is once you have your own custom theme, then you can do individual templates for each page. And I'll show you exactly what I mean in just a moment. There we go. It didn't take all that long. So now I'm looking at I'm looking at the list of templates for the new theme that I've chosen. For instance, if I wanted to go in and change something on my basic plain vanilla HTML web page, I could click on this template right here. I could customize it with, this is where you do the customization. This is programming down on the bare metal. And I'm just going to add a bold tag and close the bold tag and save my work. That won't change the appearance of the page, but it was a change. So I'm going to save and publish that. And now when we go back to look at our theme list, the pages in our theme, we'll see that the basic template that I just changed is now shows green for yes, this has been customized. And you can do anything you want. If you know HTML or CSS or JavaScript, you can do anything you want to once you have set up these templates. So that's a pretty nice feature of Nation Builder, and we really appreciate Nation Builder building that into their capabilities. Now, let's go back to datavalidation.com and see if they're finished processing our list. Okay, they've processed our list, and there were 45 emails on that list, and they're telling us that 72% of those emails are good. Now, we can click on View Details right here, and we find out that 31% of those emails were graded an A. You can send to those. B was 56%. 0% were indeterminate, were questionable, but 13% of the emails on that list were undeliverable. So I'd say it's worth it to go ahead and pay to get this list back. And if you want to find out more, you can click that link right there. It says find out more, and you can find out what those codes mean. But we don't really need to do that in this case. We kind of understand what they're doing. Now, it's like looking at two sides of a card here. And I'm going to go, I just put that in the cart, in the shopping cart, and I'm actually going to have to look at the cart, go look at the cart to find out how much they're going to charge me to purchase this list back. $3.50 is what I currently have in my cart, and that's just this one list. So I'm clicking on the shopping cart right here, up here in the upper right, and we see that to get that list back based on the number of good email addresses I have, it's going to cost me $3.50. So I'm not going to bore you. Once I've added it to the cart, they're going to do the same routine again. Once I add it to the cart and pay for it, they're going to go through this same routine again. They'll do the cleaning again just to be safe, and then you'll be able to download it from this very screen right here. From this, you'll still be able to look at both sides of this card that describes what it's doing. Only this remove from cart button will turn into a download button, and then you'll have several different choices as to whether you only want to download the clean links or whether you want to download everything and see the grades on the bad emails. You can download several different versions of the list, and then you'll be able to upload that list up to Nation Builder or MailChimp or whatever email service you're using to send out your mass emails. So datavalidation.com is a really great choice. Now, I promised you I was going to show you something about some new themes in WordPress. And WordPress, if you have a WordPress site, you may be using a theme that's really, really old. And there's nothing wrong with that, except those of us with really, really old WordPress themes tend to not maintain our sites. We don't go in and make changes because those changes are so hard to make. And who wants to make all these tough, hard changes when it's so much work? If we had a theme, if we had a WordPress theme where making changes was easy, then we might maintain our websites a little bit more. So I'm going to show you one thing now. The guys who are WordPress experts have known about this for years, but there are some new themes available that make your website very, very, very easy to edit. Here's a website I was working on this week, and as you can see, it's a nice, very nice looking, typical WordPressy looking website. So those of you who use WordPress recognize across the top here this strip menu across the top, which is the typical menu that we get when we're working with WordPress. But what's new, if you're using this new theme, you have something called a page builder. And the way you use this is you simply navigate to the page that you want to look at. If I wanted to work on the instruction page, I'd just go to the instruction page and then click on page builder. Or if I wanted to work on the home page, I'd just go to the home page, click on page builder, and we're still being presented with the website the way it looks, but now a couple of things have changed. You see we have that the black menu across the top has turned into a larger white menu across the top. And now if I want to change some text or change a picture, all I have to do is come down here and click on what I want to change. So if I want to change this text right here, all I have to do is click on it. And the text that I want to change is right down here, and I'll go ahead and make a change and save it. That Buccaneer, B-U-C, that's short for Buccaneer, is made by Lake. So I'll just put in Lake Buck and click Save. And you can see that my change is appearing right there, but I haven't saved it yet. So I need to go up here and say, I'm done editing, and click Publish. And there we go. My change is now permanent. I never had to go into the WordPress control panel. I know this control panel, this dashboard, this guy intimidates a lot of people, and I don't blame you. I do okay working with this, but we don't need to work with that if it's a simple change that we want to make to our website. So I'm bringing that up to you so you'll know that if you've got a website that you're just not maintaining because it's so hard to go in and make changes, consider changing themes to one of the more modern themes that WordPress is offering. WordPress has gotten so much better over the last 5 years. They have better security. That was my main objection a few years ago, was their security. It was so hard to secure a WordPress site, but they're doing well with the security. Now, one other thing I want to show you real quick is I am going to go into the dashboard and show you something. We've installed on this WordPress implementation a plugin called Jetpack, which does do some nice things for you. And lots of people install Jetpack because it's directly from WordPress.com, the WordPress.org people. One of the things I want to point out to you is the security scanning that they have built in. And it requires you to pay a monthly fee, but it's a very low monthly fee. But you can turn security scanning on, and then WordPress.com will do a remote scan of your WordPress site to make sure it's secure. And if their scan reveals any problems, any problems you have, detected by their scan, then they'll inform you by email. So security scanning built into a WordPress site through their Jetpack plugin is a very nice thing to have, and I'd recommend it to everybody. It's going to be well worth the very low monthly fee that they charge. Plus, the Jetpack offers a lot of other great stuff for you to add to your WordPress site. It'll make your site more secure, and the new themes will also make your website appear more professional. So that's just one thing you may want to consider about the possibility of updating your WordPress theme. Finally, we're going to talk a little bit more about security, and I've got 4 tools that I always use for security, and these are very simple tools. They are tools that anybody can adapt and adopt very quickly. You don't have to, it's not a heavy lift to undertake these security tools. The best security tool, the one that I really, really love, is a application called Signal, and I'm just going to talk about it right now. I'm not going to go to their website right now, but this is an application that you would download onto your phone from the App Store, and it's perfect forward security. In other words, Signal, the corporation, does not have the encryption keys to your traffic, whether it's text, whether it's a voice call, or you can even do video calls on Signal. Any of those methods of communication, the FBI could subpoena them all day long, and their only answer to a subpoena saying, we want the keys to this traffic is, well, we don't possess the keys, so we can't give them to you. So go to the App Store, get Signal for your phone, and one of the other things that I like about Signal is the fact that you can also get Signal for your desktop, desktop computer or your notebook computer. You can get signals there, so if you're working at home on your desktop computer or on your notebook computer, your Signal messages will pop up right there on your machine instead of you having to look at your phone. That's really convenient for me, and I really love that. One other feature that Signal has that I love to death is the fact that if I want to send you a message of any kind, if I want to send you a text through Signal, before I send, I can set Signal to say, you know what, after my friend looks at this message, I want you to make that message disappear off his device after 5 minutes, or 6 hours, or 24 hours. You can set a large number of periods. I usually go for about 5 minutes because I'm usually saying something that they're going to remember. So that way, if my messages are disappearing from my friend's cell phone after he reads them, if someone's ever looking at his phone, there's nothing from me on his phone unless they happen to catch him within 5 minutes of when I send him something. So I'm pretty safe. That allows me to protect myself, and I don't have to worry about a bunch of my saved traffic being saved up on somebody else's copy of Signal with everything pointing back to me. That makes me feel uncomfortable, needless to say. So Signal is a real good choice. Offshore email. Offshore email is, I like Yandex because it's so much like Gmail. It's unbelievable. Yandex is Russia's Google. And I don't care about Russia. I mean, you know, they have good IT people there. They do what they say, and they run a good service. So it's nice to have some offshore email that you can use from time to time whenever you need to have that. For email and text encryption, I like Encipher It. That's a European website, and you go there by typing in encipher.it, and Encipher It allows you to encrypt your communications without having a bunch of encryption software on your PC or learning how to install encryption software and manage keys and manage key exchanges and have all those tools cluttered all around your computer. That's going to cause law enforcement to look much, much closer if they see these tools on your computer. They're going to say, ah, we've got a hacker because he's got, you know, PGP or GPG or one of these heavy-duty encryption tools. If those tools are absent on your computer, then level of scrutiny that your computer gets in a law enforcement situation may be reduced considerably. You just don't have a footprint there. So I prefer to go do all this online, and I use Encipher it. Finally, something you've probably heard of before, and that's the Tor browser. I definitely recommend that you download Tor today. Just go to torproject.org and download Tor and start learning how to use it. Tor will anonymize your web browsing. You can still go to all the websites you've gone to before, but you won't be as traceable or as trackable, and you'll be as close to entirely anonymous as you can conveniently get. So let's take a closer look at each one of them. We really discussed Signal at length, but I do want to tell you, this is the one that Edward Snowden uses and recommends. If you watch the Laura Poitras documentary of Edward Snowden in the hotel in Hong Kong, he was actually using Signal, and that was when he pulled the blanket up over his head and his computer screen and used that when he typed in his password. This is a very, very secure communications program, and it's from a company called Open Whisper, which is, yes, that's Moxie Marlinspike, in case you wanted to know. Yes, that's the same guy, and you can definitely secure your communications, and you don't have to know much about it. Again, one of the great things, disappearing messages, that's a big, big deal, and the fact that nobody except you and the person you're communicating with has your decryption keys. So, you know, law enforcement or intelligence services can, FISA court can subpoena all they want. They can't get your encryption keys. There's nobody that has them except you and the people that you talk with. They would have to have your device in your hand, and you set all your messages to disappear, right? So there's nothing on there. Nothing on there at all. Yandex. I love Yandex. They have free email just like Google. They have Yandex Disk, which is like Google Drive. They have photo storage, blah, blah, blah. Go check out Yandex. Set yourself up a free Yandex account, and then you don't have to worry about Google getting subpoenaed for your email box contents. I don't think the folks in Russia are going to honor an American subpoena. So it's definitely a good thing to have some offshore email. Even if you only use it twice a year, you know, it's just a good thing to have. So Yandex email is definitely a recommendation I would stick with there. Then anonymous browsing. This is the big deal. Now, this gets a bad rap because I think it's all child pornographers and drug dealers and stuff like that. That's not the case. Journalists use Tor. People who are under threat from repressive countries, journalists and human rights workers who are under threat for working in repressive countries, these governments don't like human rights workers, and they'll do everything they can to oppose them and compromise them. And so these people use Tor also. It's a very good tool to use. It's just as easy as using a web browser. Instead of bringing up Chrome or Internet Explorer or Firefox, you bring up Tor. You use Tor as your browser. And Tor is actually a version of Firefox. So if you're used to Firefox browsing, you're going to feel right at home. Tor is going to anonymize you. I won't go into the details, but if you Google Tor, T-O-R, or just Google Tor Project, you can get Tor, download it. It's free. And I would say if there's any tool you're going to download this week to start learning about, and the learning curve is not much at all. There's really no learning curve there at all. Be sure and read their warnings about safe browsing. That's about half a page. And they tell you where you're safe and where you're not. But it's going to do a lot to make your browsing a lot safer. And that's what I want for you. I want your browsing to be safe. And then finally, encipher it. Now, encipher it is a bit of a complication, and the people that want to use encipher it, I guess you've got to be kind of high level and kind of determined. The only problem with using encipher it is you have to do a key exchange in advance. There's no key exchange resource that allows people to exchange keys anonymously, and I realize that I'm talking deep tech here. But you have to do a key exchange before you can do encrypted communications. If you get an encrypted communication from me through another channel, I will have told you that the key to the encrypted traffic that I just sent to you is your telephone number followed by your email address. Those are two things I'll bet you can remember. So you're always going to have your decryption key in your head, because if I'm sending you encrypted traffic, I know your phone number and I know your email address. So I'm going to email this to you. So there you go. I've got your email address and you're probably in my cell phone directory. So I will have, so if you ever get encrypted traffic from me out of the blue, paste it into encipher it, and when encipher it asks for the decryption key, type in your telephone number with no punctuation, no spaces, followed by your email address, no punctuation, no spaces. And that way, knowing the decryption key is not a problem. Make variations on that, of course, if you think the FBI watched this video and knows the encryption key that I'm going to use in my communications with you. And really, we don't have to worry about that. But do consider that if you're sending encrypted traffic to someone from something like encipher it, do consider that you want to give them a decryption key that they possess, that they might have right in their head. So things like telephone numbers and email addresses combined are definitely long enough to be a very strong encryption key, and they're complex enough to be a very strong encryption key. But you may want to opt for something else. Who knows? So those are the 4 tools that we recommend for security, and I will definitely go into each of these tools in more detail in a future show. And so we've almost reached the end of our time together tonight. I want to thank everybody who was with us tonight, and please join us again on the future. I hope you like the new format. We're going to be staying with this format. I don't see anybody with any questions in the chat room, and nobody's unmuted themselves to ask a question during the presentation. So thank you so much for being on the phone with us. Pick up our show next week every Thursday at 6 o'clock Pacific time. Thank you so much for being with us, and God bless.